Hi guys, how is it going? Intense energy right now. Wow. Before I start this video, I want to send out a trigger warning because especially if you're a sensitive soul, this video is not going to be for the faint of heart because something big is coming and it's not subtle. Mars, the planet of action, passion, and fire, is about to go head to head with Pluto, the planet of the underworld, the planet of destruction and transformation. They will create a tug of war in the sky, and this is one of the most intense, explosive, transformative transits of the entire year, honestly. So it's going to hit us right where it matters most. And this is like a pressure cooker. It's like a big identity shift. Think about truths that you can't unsee anymore right now. And it's not just another astrological update, this video, it's actually a wake-up call. We're gonna go through each of the rising signs to show you where exactly this Mars opposite Pluto is gonna take place in your natal chart. And it's going to be the place where you're being tested, where you're being pushed to evolve, and also where you might finally break free. Because, yeah, this transit is here to move you in a very, very deep way. And if you understand its energy, you can work with it. So take a deep breath. Let's dive into what the cosmos is cracking open for all of us right now. And let me know where you are watching this from and how you are like handling all of these intense energies lately. So Mem Jack says, morning, good morning, Mem Jacks. It's almost 4 in the afternoon here. So for me, it's almost dinner time, but you're from Arizona. Thank you so much for joining. We're gonna start looking at the slides. So the final Mars-Pluto opposition. Intensity, drama, conflict, power struggles, manipulation. But the positive thing is that you can draw upon this like extreme willpower to overcome hurdles and challenges. So the Mars Pluto, it is one of the most explosive, confrontational, and like a very, very high stake aspect in astrology. And this is the third and the final hit in a very, very powerful cycle that began in early November 2024. It repeated itself in early January of 2025, and now it's going to reach its final conclusion on the 26th, 27th, depending on where you are in the world, in April. So within 7 days for me as I record this now. So we can think of this as like a 3-act play. The first hit was like the shock. The second hit was like the reckoning. And now the third hit is going to bring like all the consequences and the big transformation. But like first we need to go through let me put it differently. Pluto is the planet of transformation and rising from the ashes. But this is like the destruction mode. We're not yet to the point where we're going to like fully resurrect. So now it's going to get a little bit intense in the next couple of weeks. So Mars is in Leo, and it represents our individual ego, our identity, and our creative force. It's also a desire to act boldly, and Pluto in Aquarius symbolizes our collective power, our social systems, also our technological disruption, and also it's gonna like symbolize hidden control mechanisms. So when these two face off in an opposition in the sky, it creates like this extreme polarity. It is the self versus the system, the performer versus the audience, and also the child versus the institution. Schools and kids and all of these themes are going to be very, very big highlighted during this transit. So yeah, this final opposition really carries a very big karmic undertone. It happens while Mars is still in its post-retrograde shadow. That means that we're like finishing something that began during the retrograde cycle that started on December the 6th, 2024. So themes that were like stirred back then, especially related to your ego, to your authenticity, can be about suppressed anger and also about power dynamics. Now it's gonna like reach its final resolution, and it's happening in the fixed signs, which are Leo and Aquarius. So they both resist change in a very, very big way. So yeah, this isn't just like a one-day blow-up. It's like an energetic battle between stubborn forces unwilling to back down. Many people will feel pushed to draw a line, to take a stand, or to just simply walk away. Especially those with personal planets at 0 to 3 degrees of Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. You are the fixed signs, and you will have like the most intense happenings happen for you. But also Aries, because you're Mars ruled. So yeah, on a collective level, this opposition is going to play out through public events involving anger, involving explosions, violence, and it's going to cause mass tension. Mars rules weapons, heat, aggression. Pluto rules death, crisis, and control. So these oppositions between these two planets, they are like notoriously volatile. And the previous hits, we saw them in the beginning of November, the beginning of January. We saw literal explosions and also large-scale crowd incidents. And the third opposition is going to bring more of the same, especially with Mars in Leo, which rules youth, entertainment, being on stage, so like performance. And Pluto and Aquarius rules crowds, protests, very tech-driven collectives, and also systemic control. So think about concerts, stadiums, parades, political gatherings, but also online firestorms. And these events could both be very symbolic and literal flashpoints, and also very big breakdowns and actually destruction as well. So if we look at the chart, which I'm going to show right here, and Mem Jax says, what was the dates of the first two oppositions? The first date was on November the 3rd, 2024. It was during the US election. And the second one was on the 3rd of January. And I'm going to get deeper into that. And I'm also going to show you what happened during those times. So, yeah, I'm going to like share, maybe before I dive into this, I'm maybe going to share a bit more of my personal story. Because yeah, for the sake of this video, it's gonna like show the energy that I had to deal with yesterday at work. Yesterday was so intense. I work part-time at a youth center. So teenagers come chill and hang out at our place. And in front of our place, we have this big skate park. And yeah, so all the boys, they're like mostly these tough skater boys with a heart of gold. And on Wednesday, we did the skate contest. And I remember telling my colleagues, like, guys, this is not the best week to host a skate contest. The planetary energy really indicates serious injury. And I'm going to feel very guilty when one of the kids breaks something. So I prayed for protection during this day, especially on Wednesday during the contest. And actually, the contest was a lot of fun. Nothing went wrong. But then yesterday, one of my favorite kids, which I love so much, he fell down and he broke his wrist at 2 places, like a double fracture. Very, very complex fracture. Seeing him in so much pain, like, really broke my heart. We had to call 911, and in the middle of all the chaos, while the medics arrived and were like taking care of this little guy screaming his lungs out, an evil man just straight up walked to me. He came up to me and he asked me out on a date. He asked me, do you want to have dinner with me tonight? And I was like, can you believe this? That is like pure evil. And I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that he had like the nerves to come up to me and ask me out like nothing was wrong. So I was totally baffled. I totally exploded, Aries style. So yeah, I don't think we will see this guy again. I hope so. But after things calmed down, I decided to open my laptop for the first time that day because I had to finish some work. And when I opened my laptop, I came to the conclusion that someone had deleted all my personal files, which I had been working on for weeks. So they did it on purpose, and I will probably be able to recover these files. But yeah, it's like safe to say that I had a complete mental breakdown last night. I also spilled my apple juice in my whole car, and I had to make this presentation, and I'm going to show you today, like all over last night. So the darkness really tried their best to stop me from doing this video today. But the beautiful thing is that Mars-Pluto, it is so intense, it is so powerful that you can like really draw upon this intense energy and have like this immense willpower to succeed. So I just told myself, well, I'm going to make this presentation all over again, and it will be better than the one I made before. So it will not be this bad for everyone. I am an Aries, Mars rules my sign. So, but yeah, I just want to say, tell you, like, better be warned with foresight, so you can like prepare for this energy, because it's like rising, it's building over the next couple of weeks. So let's maybe get back to the chart. And Lakeside Laura is here. And I want to wish you a very, very happy birthday, Laura. It was yesterday. Congratulations. And the Cosmos says, thanks, Astrid. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna continue with the presentation, which should be here. Okay. Yes, like this. So we're gonna look back, and we're gonna take a look at what has been happening, because Mars and Pluto have been locked in this opposition for a record of like over 6 months. So yeah, Mars, assertiveness, conflicts, Pluto, the underworld. The combination of these two planets is very violent, very destructive. It is a very, very volcanic combination, and it's gonna signify like this violent eruption of energy. And it's like things that have been pent up beneath the surface that will be exposed right now. So Mars takes like Pluto and Mars, it's like together they have the tendency towards like this action and this violence, and it's heading towards like the extremes. So be very, very careful, very explosive energy. Be mindful in the next couple of weeks, especially from today, the 20th, until the 30th of April. Manipulation, arguments, confrontations. It will be important not to get angry with people in power. Think about the police or some kind of other authority figure in your life. Avoid the dangerous situations, big crowds. It's not a time to take risks, and also be especially careful for accidents in traffic. There can be more road rage, and I do not want to manifest this, but the planetary energy will come through. So we're going to see a huge accident in the news under this transit. It can be with something happening on the road. It can also be with airplanes. I think we're going to see again multiple airplane crashes. That was very, very noticeable during the other two oppositions we had. So yeah, avoid any danger. Also watch your tongue. Do not provoke people, because there's going to be a backlash. So let's dive into the 2-year zodiac cycle of Mars and Pluto, and let's look at what happened so far. Because it all started with the conjunction on the 14th of February 2024. During that time, we saw Russians trying to put nuclear weapons in space to like target the US satellites. That is one of the examples. Then we had the first square in the synodic cycle. And that was when the Russian installed like their military in Cuba. So people were like wondering about a Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0, which was rather intense during that time. And then the first opposition we had was on November the 3rd, 2024. That was during the US elections. That was also Russia that approved changes to the nuclear doctrine. It was also Russia using hypersonic missiles for the first time to test capabilities and then cause destruction. So yeah, these themes of like threats and fears around the use of nuclear weapons comes up every time we see Mars in connection with Pluto. What also happened, because of Mars retrograde, this opposition lasted for like almost 2 months, because yeah, Mars went back retrograde and created another hit with Pluto. And during that time, we also saw like the Assad regime collapsing in Syria. And we also saw the South Korean martial law crisis. So yeah, very, very intense happenings. Then the one we saw after was on January the 3rd. That was in 2025 this year. What we saw back then was a car driving into a crowd. That attack happened in New Orleans. And a couple of days before that, we saw the same thing happening at the Christmas market in Germany. So we also saw the LA fires, which caused massive destruction. And we also saw a bus carrying tourists that fell into a ravine near the Pan American Highway, which caused a lot of people to die and a lot of injuries as well. We also saw the mystery drones flying nearby nuclear-linked bases. These orbs, these flying sorcerers, these UFOs, especially in the UK, the US, and New Jersey. So yeah, the first opposition planted a seed, the second one brought it to awareness, and now this third and final opposition delivers the climax or the transformation. So if you like reflect on what was unfolding in your life around January and November, the beginning of those months, it is likely that you'll notice these recurring themes. And so I just told you guys about someone deleting my personal files yesterday. It actually happened to me as well in January. But that back then was someone else, someone I had been working together with for quite some time. Without a warning, that person kicked me off of our team on Canva. I was smart enough to like back up all my files because I felt it coming. This time around, I didn't feel it coming at all. It's so weird. Jealousy does weird things with people, but we all need to remember, if we like encounter some intense situations right now, that karma is a bitch and revenge is never needed. I know I will not like have to lift a single finger because it's now in the hands of God. And if you're like trying to intervene with God, then you're just like showing resistance to the whole thing, and it will take longer for God to be able to judge accordingly. And I hope you guys know this as well. So if you feel threatened, just walk it off. Mars and Pluto, it is actually about unhealthy power dynamics that are being revealed. So people who are toxic, and then Mars severing and cutting those ties with them. So it is actually a blessing. But I know whenever that moment does appear or present itself, it can be very, very hard to keep your cool. So let's take a deep dive in the final opposition. So that will happen on the 26th or the 27th of April, so within a week. Yeah, it's like it will dominate like the second half of April, and it will linger all the way in through May. So yeah, this tug-of-war dynamic between conflictive energies, it is deep transformation, systematic power, collective shifts, and hidden control structures that will be released. There's this desire for recognition and this creative fire with Mars and Leo. And on top of that, like, look at the chart. We see a big fixed grand cross. Like, in all the years that I do astrology, I have never seen this. This is like intensity level through the roof, intensity level 10,000, because Mars is in Leo. Leo is the lion that is gonna roar. It deposits back to the sun in Taurus because the sun rules Leo, and the sun is in the sign of the bull. And it squares Lilith, the troublemaker, and it squares Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. So when I look at this chart, this is pure drama, and I don't want to cause any more drama. I just like want to show you like how intense this actually gets. Yeah, it's actually unreal. The bull is gonna charge, the lion will be roaring, and the collective is up for like a huge transformation. A confrontation between like the urge to assert oneself versus like the pressure from society, the pressure from institutions, or like the pressure from group dynamics. We're really being asked here to balance our self-expression with accountability and to harness our personal power without stepping into manipulation or in conflict. So it is not an easy transit. It's highly charged, it's emotionally volatile, and it's going to reveal what's been hidden, whether in our own psyche or in society at large. But it's like an invitation for deep transformation and also for empowerment. So I just told you about all these files and all the jealousy that was projected onto me, and it just showed me that I'm actually more capable to do things on my own than I first thought. So I don't need other people to work with, and it hurted me, but eventually it gave me more power to believe in myself. And yeah, that led eventually to a huge transformation. And we need to remember that sometimes the people that hurt us are actually contributing to like our personal growth. And that is like, yeah, the key takeaway from all these energies that are currently playing out. Because yeah, we can see it's in Leo and Aquarius, the Mars-Pluto opposition. This is the battle and the ego between the... it's like the battle of the individual ego and the collective systems. And people are going to rebel massively in the next coming weeks. Mars in Leo wants to stand out. It wants to act very boldly. It wants to take risks and lead forward. And it really seeks this visibility and pride, and it wants validation. But it's like in conflict with all these other energies right now. So then we have Pluto and Aquarius. It's like going to strip away illusions, and it's going to confront us with the collective costs of our individual actions. It's going to represent, maybe reveal hidden technology. It's about invisible systems. It's about ideologies of the collective as well, and can also expose these abuses of power in group settings. And I think that will be a major one. The sun and the moon in Taurus, because you can see here in the chart, like this is the chart from the 26th. This is a day just before the new moon in Taurus. You can see it, the moon is relatively close towards the sun. So this means that this chart from this day is a balsamic moon phase, which means there's going to be no light from the moon. And they also call these days the devil days. So yeah, people are going to be massively triggered during this time. Yeah, it's like there's a lot at stake right now. It's like we can feel as if our power, our security, and our identity and survival are all under some kind of threat. So it's important to like check in with yourself and just look at how do you assert yourself without becoming domineering, or like being dominated is going to be a theme. And like, can you hold your own power without losing the compassion? And that will be a test for us all right now. It's going to bring up these deep unconscious emotions to the surface. Pluto rules the underworld. It's what's been repressed that will rise. Mars rules anger, desire, action. So when they clash, we are expecting explosive emotional reactions. Shadow projections we may see in others, what we're like avoiding in ourselves. They can also be suppressed needs or desires that will show themselves, and it can like really erupt, especially if we like ignore them for too long. And because I say erupt, we're gonna see earthquakes, we're gonna see probably a big volcano going off. And when I look at this chart, it's going to get like really loud, really fast. Think about alarms, earthquake alarms, sirens from the firemen, from the 911, like all these things. And it's just going to be a lot to deal with. And people are going to be like, oh, wow, this is too loud for me right now. So it will be very important to take time to recharge and to unwind. Yeah, if you're going to be like in this public space with a lot of people, there can be like a very, very big inappropriate emotional release happening. So really use self-awareness to avoid unnecessary escalation. So you can journal, you can exercise. I think movement of the body will be extremely important. Be careful of injuries while working out. Don't overdo it, but it will be very, very necessary to move and keep everything like going, because otherwise it will implode inside of you. So yeah, the hidden gift here is that this is set up for like a huge personal transformation. It can be about empowered action if you're consciously aware of this destructive force that is like being displayed right now. But just know that despite the intensity, this transit carries massive transformative potential. This is a pressure cooker moment, but pressure creates breakthroughs. Pluto forces truth, even if it's uncomfortable, and Mars gives us the courage to act on that truth. So together they push us into this radical authenticity, they can push us into purposeful action, and also in a deeper understanding of our own personal power and about how other people hold power over us, and we can like break free from that. Yeah, this can like finally be the moment you notice like, or you like decide to finally quit something that really drains you. There can be a big breakthrough in self-expression and in your creativity. By confrontation, it can lead like to a reset and a very toxic dynamic. Can also bring forth a realization about your path or purpose that's like going to change everything right now. So lean into this energy with curiosity, with courage, and like think for yourself what is trying to emerge through all the chaos right now. I think that will be the most important question you can ask yourself. We're gonna quickly look at Trump's chart, and for today I actually put his progressions into the slide deck, because yeah, his chart is like heavily activated, especially his secondary progressions. And I know people are not used of me, they have not seen me using his this kind of chart, but yeah, his secondary progressions, this is like through the roof. You can see the whole fixed grand cross is like impacting his progressions immediately. So very, very heavy activated. Mars is currently sitting on his Saturn in Leo at the top of his chart. So yeah, it is like very tied to his public life, about legal battles, and like all the major timing techniques. If we look at his transits, his progressions, perfections, it like all comes together here right now. It's like a high stakes power reckoning, and I would not be surprised at all if JD Vance would need to take over in a short period of time after this. If we then look at his transits real quick, so Uranus at the top of his chart, very volatile, disruptive energy on his MC, his public role in the world. We can see Mars is entering his 12th house of self-sabotaging behavior. Trump has a natal Mars in Leo. So yeah, it's closing in on his Pluto, which can be very, very destructive, very, very powerful, can be about getting hurt, can be about needing to go to the hospital. Yeah, it's like just not looking good. And one thing I maybe forgot to mention about his progressions is here you can see Lilith at his rising. Lilith, the troublemaker, is exactly conjunct his rising sign. Then we have Pluto at the bottom of the chart, creating destruction very deep in his inner selves. And then we see the sun actually conjunct his descendant in Taurus. This big grand fixed cross is just hitting all his personal angles. This is so destructive, guys. Like, I have no words to even explain this. So yeah, do I need to mention something more about this? Yeah, well, it's just not looking good. It actually, I do not wish him to get hurt at all, but the energy is very, very harsh for him right now. It's very, very, very bad. So will JD Vance need to take over? Probably. There's a big chance. If we then look at the US SIBLEY chart, it's also affected because Mars in Leo is currently heading towards the North Node. I already explained the North Node is like our front door, and whenever a planet stops at our front door, it just like throws in all the energies of that planet inside of our house, and we need to like sort it out. And it can be a lot. The North Node, it just eats and eats. It is the head of the dragon. It is like never satisfied. So the North Node just wants to take, and it's gonna take conflict. It's gonna, it's squaring off this big grand cross is squaring off the North Node, the South Node. We can see Pluto on the South Node. Yeah, it's like collective destiny versus the karma axis that is getting like displayed here. It is happening in the 8th house, the house of intensity, of crisis. Pluto and Mars, destruction. Mars on the North Node, war, conflict. And we can also see that Jupiter is currently back on Mars in the 7th house. The 7th house is open enemies. There's also allies, but the last time we saw a Mars retrograde going over a Jupiter retrograde going over the Mars in US SIBLEY, we saw Pearl Harbor happening. I've been saying this since October last year. So it's going to trigger major confrontations with foreign powers. It's going to indicate authority shifts and also ideological battles. And I want to like quickly look at China's chart because, of course, it will be China. It will be in regards to China because, yeah, look at this chart. It's like, yeah, it is very, very intense. We can see Pluto on the moon. Pluto is destruction. The moon is representing the people. It's the public mood. It is also the national identity. Yeah, it is like the face of the country. It is the rising. It is how it like reacts to the outside world. So yeah, mass awakening, mass control, manipulation, suppression by the state, crisis of public trust. So yeah, I'm gonna get deeper into this when I do the new moon in Taurus video, because you can see this is the chart of the new moon in Taurus. So yeah, the angles are implicated here as well. So yeah, it is so intense, this chart. Diplomatic tension, foreign policy gets very, very assertive, military assertions at the border, and China is going to respond to the perceived threats or challenges from Western authority or other authority that challenges them. It's not looking good for Russia and Ukraine either. It's also heavy on Israel. I'm going to highlight this all in the new moon in Taurus video, but I wanted to give you like a heads up before we get there in a couple of days. I will try to do my new moon in Taurus video as soon as possible. So how to navigate this energy? Well, that is actually a very, very good question. And I had to like sit back, meditate and think about this because yeah, this period is really gonna test your resilience. But if you have like the tools to navigate it wisely and powerfully, then it will be all okay. Just avoid power games. Don't make any impulsive decisions right now. You will regret them or they will backfire. Also be a bit mindful about oversharing your personal insights with untrustworthy people. It can be like, oh my God, I thought I trusted this person, but wow, now Pluto is like exposing the truth, and that can be a little painful. So be careful with who you share your insights with. But you can channel this intense energy and very creative or meaningful action. You're gonna need to practice emotional regulations. You can do that by trauma release exercise. You can do that by fascia therapy, which is helping me a lot right now to process everything. And also, yeah, reflect on where you feel disempowered. It's time to reclaim your inner power. You have this immense willpower you can draw upon. Use it wisely and also be discerning and how and like with who you engage in conflict. Is it like really worthy? Because I know a lot of people will burn bridges under this aspect, and they're gonna be later like, oh my God, what did I do? And was it like necessary? No. So yeah, it's about like this energy asks us our emotional maturity. It's going to ask us to think strategically, and also to shed what no longer fits in our life and really step into this deeper self-alignment. And it's going to be a very cosmic push, and we don't have like a choice right now. It needs to happen. We have been reflecting over all these changes for the past couple of months, from actually November, December last year. Now is the time to push forward and to go through the process. So yeah, just remember, everyone is gonna want to have their own way. People are gonna experience overwhelming emotions, so practice compassion with others right now. Yeah, everyone is wanting to be like hurt and fight over intense stuff because they're not taught how to emotionally regulate their emotions. So it would be wise, if you know how to do that, to help others to do that as well. Maybe teach them your knowledge. That can be very, very empowering for yourself, but also for other people. Just remember, right now, no one is willing to give up. They can be overly focused and attached to the outcome, and a lot of people are going to refuse to loosen up or to back down. So just remember, you have this immense willpower to overcome hurdles right now. So yeah, maybe a ritual you can do is maybe a fire release ritual, with a candle, with a bonfire. You can write everything down, how you're gonna take steps towards letting go of toxic rage. It can also be about obsession. Pluto rules obsession, and it can also be about feelings of powerlessness. And Pluto also rules trauma. So write it down, what you want to release, maybe patterns that keep you stuck in fear or in control or in addiction or in a need to manipulate yourself or others, or things that come up which make you feel mad. Write it down, light the candle, read your list out loud, really own your own shadow right now. And you can also say, I honor the fire of Mars and the transformation of Pluto, and I burn all of these patterns in order to reclaim my own inner power. Burn the paper safely, and also, yeah, be mindful of having a fire inside. Don't do it inside of your house. Do it outside, somewhere safe. Another thing you can do, and it's going to be very important, is physical embodiment. So move the energy so it doesn't implode, so it doesn't explode. And like a very good thing you can do right now is like martial arts. Like just like go smack something. You can go kickboxing, you can dance very wildly. Maybe some of you will need to just like scream and let it all out. That's all okay. Like we are taught to suppress our anger, and because we're not learned how to channel our anger in a constructive way, all these things that are about to happen are coming forward from that. So yeah, just let your body move through the rage or the frustration. Just like allow your body to get it out of your system. It is okay to be angry. Angry is a very good barometer. I'm now saying it in Dutch, but it's like something. It's a measurement of like how we need to like draw boundaries. So yeah, and integrate whenever you release it. Stay grounded and breathe deeply whenever the emotions flare. Avoid like power struggles. Focus on self-mastery, and if someone tries to manipulate you during this time, you can just like think like, okay, wow, they are very emphasized by the Mars-Pluto transit, and they have not integrated their own inner authority or inner power very well. And just try to be compassionate, and try to acknowledge the anger of the other person. Don't try to like shove it under the carpet, because it's going to make things worse. So, Ma'am Jax says, yes, I need to release some rage and anger. Thank you. Yeah, I had to do that as well last night. It was very intense. Aries fire energy going pretty wild, to be honest. So yeah, lots of grounding. And Claudia says, hi, Claudia. Astrid, good message on staying strong. Love to all the group. Thank you, Wise Astrid. Well, I'm sending you all so much love, and I'm so happy you're all here with me today. I know this is not the most fun video I've put out, but as soon as we're through this, May is gonna be better. The summer is gonna be better. Well, just in August, we're gonna have something interesting coming up. But apart from that, just like let it all out right now, and it just focus on what's coming. We're almost through it. We've been in this battleground, this emotional battleground since the fall of last year. The summer will get better, so I'm happy I can say that. So with all of that being said, we're gonna start with the rising signs, and we're gonna start with Aries. I'm just gonna look here if I forgot to mention some. No, I don't think so. Okay, we're gonna start with my dear fellow Aries sun, moon, or rising. So, Pluto Mars opposition is gonna activate your fifth house of creativity, romance, personal expression. It's the house of fun, it's the house of children. And Pluto is in your 11th house of groups, networks, and also your long term goals, aspirations, and your dreams. So there's like this powerful internal tension between your desire to shine creatively and the way you assert yourself versus like the external pressure from community expectation. It's in conflict with your social obligations and also within your peers or your friends. So you may feel very deeply motivated to pursue some kind of personal project or a passion, but you can find yourself blocked or challenged by the demands of your social circle. It can be your colleagues, it can be your long-term commitments. So this is really a moment to ask yourself, have I been sidelining my joy or creative expression for the sake of others' expectations? The fifth house's influence can also bring up some romantic power struggles. Relationships might become more intense. There can be some revealing issues around jealousy, around control. It can be about unmet desires coming up, especially if some things have been brewing under the surface since January. And these themes can also be extended to children or to like your parenting dynamics. Your child might push for more independence, or you may feel the need to defend or advocate for them, especially within a system like a school system or some kind of authority structure. So in group settings, leadership challenges or like some authority clashes could also emerge, especially if you find yourself in a leadership role. So you might be confronted by some rivals, you can be met with some resistance, and some friendships could shift because hidden tensions are surfacing right now. So the key here is to stay grounded, act with empathy, and avoid ego-driven reactions. So on a deeper level, this transit can also lead to like a rebirth of your long-term dreams and goals. Pluto in the 11th is also transforming your future vision. And with this opposition to Mars, you might push you to like finally pursue something very bold, something creative, something very authentic. But not everyone in your friend group is gonna like what you're doing, because you can like shine out, you can be on stage, you can like really draw a lot of attention, and some friends are gonna be jealous of that. So keep that in mind. It's like, yeah, this is transforming your future vision. It could also be like a pull towards people in a position of power or some kind of influence. It can be an attraction towards them. You can get inspired by people in an authority position as well, or there can come some kind of collaboration that is going to put you in the spotlight as well. But you will need to stay mindful of manipulative or some imbalanced power dynamics that are going to pop up. So if you channel this energy constructively, this transit can like really spark an incredible surge in creative expression, can be explicitly manifesting in your romantic desire. Like I know some Aries are gonna feel this romantic pull towards someone, but be very mindful and be careful that it's like on an equal basis and that there's no domination or power games involved. So the best path forward is like to honor your individuality without like alienating your support network. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, because your support network can be a little bit jealous or can create some blocks or some manipulation. So yeah, you need to like find a way to share your light in a way that like empowers both of you, but also the collective. Like there's this push and pull dynamic between these two houses. So yeah, what it means is that there is pressure between belonging to a group and expressing your individuality. So be mindful of intense and controlling group dynamics, and watch your friends if they behave a little bit out of the blue or out of normal. That is because of this energy is playing out. So think for yourself, like, how can you create without needing approval? And do your friendships really support your creative fire, or do they drain it? And if you create something, let it flow from the heart. Do not use your creativity to manipulate others. So, and also really align with groups or causes that really empower your vision, and not those that like use guilt and status or control. That is like that is being asked to release for you, my dear Aries. So let me know how you're handling this energy. If you're like thriving right now, then that means that you're very, very resilient, but be mindful, because it is a buildup of energy that is gonna come out during the next 2 weeks. So yeah, just be mindful, Aries. Also be a bit mindful of accidents. Also watch how you say things to people, or what you do, because yeah, it can like really start a fire. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck, my dear Aries, and let me know how you're doing with this energy. We have Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. And oh, wait, before I do that, is like Lakeside Laura says, spot on. And she said, are you spying on me, Astrid? Because I know Laura is like a fellow Aries, and it was her birthday yesterday. So yeah, like Laura, I'm not gonna lie, in your solar return, you're gonna have this Mars opposite Pluto, and it's gonna like be here for the entire year. So Laura, your birthday comes like on a very, very special time, because you're gonna have the fixed T-square cross, actually the big grand cross with the two T-squares combined, with the sun squaring Mars, with the sun squaring Pluto, and all this intense energy. So I actually want to look at your solar chart and which houses it's gonna fall, because you could have a pretty interesting solar return this year. So brace yourself, Laura. Okay. Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. The Mars-Pluto opposition falls across your 4th house of home, family, and inner life, and also your 10th house of career, public reputation, and authority. So it creates significant pressure between your private and public life, and you might feel caught between these family responsibilities and your professional ambitions. And this tension could really reach a breaking point where it can like no longer be ignored right now. And there's a big push to restructure your work-life balance, reassess your goals, and take your personal needs more seriously. So Authority conflicts are likely. It can be with bosses, supervisors, or figures in your industry, maybe people you compete with. If you have like a business of yourself, then that can create some tension for sure. And also, if possible, really avoid challenging power structures like directly during this period. Like Pluto often represents like this entrenched power, and Mars can provoke backlash if the timing is like strategic. So maybe you're gonna have to wait until things calm down a little bit in order to move forward in your house of career and your house of reputation and your own business. So yeah, can bring a little bit of conflict or intensity into the home. Family dynamics could become a bit more charged, especially around power struggles, control. It can be about emotional outbursts from family members. You might experience more tension with parents, roommates, people you live with together, or maybe you're going to find yourself needing to protect or like assert your autonomy within your living space. There could also be sudden shifts in your living situation. You could move, you could renovate, or some kind of disruption that's going to force you to change. On an emotional level, Pluto might unearth like deeply buried family secrets could be exposed. It could also be about unresolved emotional wounds and like pushing you to confront them during this time. It can be very uncomfortable. It can be deeply healing for sure. So just face it head on. I know you can do it, especially with the sun in your sign. Yeah, it's almost your birthday. So happy birthday, my dear Taurus. It's almost your time of year. So yeah, Mars in Leo really like intensifies your desire for independence and for space. And I know Taurus rising and also Taurus sun and moon, it is so important to have like harmony at home. So yeah, it is also a wise plan if you feel it's like too emotionally overwhelming to retreat and recharge. Maybe you need to consider taking a day off, and maybe you need to create some distance if things become too overwhelming. Pluto in your 10th really signals this long-term transformation in your career path and also in your public identity. And during the opposition, you may like experience an intense urge to like change your direction in life. It can be about redefining your success and can also be about reclaiming your power in professional settings as well. But with Pluto involved, this change might be triggered by some external events or some crisis that is going to push you forward. And a major lesson is to develop emotional resilience, and also really root your actions in your inner core, because the fourth house is deep down at the chart, is very emotionally sensitive. So yeah, for Tauruses, this can like be a little bit overwhelming in the home or in the emotional area. And yeah, if you can like center yourself, you'll be way better equipped to like navigate all these public demands without like letting these private matters spiral. So keep in mind your reputation may be under scrutiny right now. So it's very important to handle personal issues privately and with a lot of maturity. It's about emotional maturity for you, Taurus. So it's going to challenge your foundations because it's at the bottom of the chart, but it's also going to offer a powerful opportunity to really emerge stronger, wiser, and more in control of your own life trajectory. So, a question you can ask yourself is, how do early childhood patterns shape my relationships with success? The top of the chart. And are you trying to prove your worth through your work? Or are you avoiding your family by overworking? You might also need to face the fear of success and have a very big breakthrough in that. So do the ancestral healing work. Really cut those cords with the old conditioning from your family lineage with Mars in the fourth. That is like a perfect time to do that right now. And really honor your emotional integrity, and maybe redefine what success looks like from the inside out. So let me know how you guys are doing with this, and I wish you the best of luck, my dear Taurus. Then we have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. For you, my dear Geminis, you have the Mars-Pluto opposition activating your third house of communication, the mind, your local environment, your siblings, mental processing, and then we have Pluto in your ninth house of beliefs, long distance travel, it's higher education, it's also philosophy and spirituality. So it creates this strong pull between what you think and express day to day versus your higher beliefs and your broader worldview. So you might find yourself caught in some heated ideological debates. There can be some intellectual power struggles, particularly if you're in some academic, some legal, some political contexts involved. So be cautious. These discussions can escalate quickly, especially if there's already been tension going on since January. And if you're dealing with legal matters, mentors, guides, professors, or any institutional authorities, be extra mindful. Pluto can represent powerful struggles, power struggles with them, and Mars could like really push you too hard or to like speak too forcefully, because Mars is in your third house of communication. So yeah, this transit may also stir up tensions in your immediate environment, particularly with siblings or neighbors, which belong to the third house. And it could also reveal these long-standing issues or hidden resentments towards them. So yeah, power struggles could arise with siblings, and it's best to approach them with both courage and compassion. At the same time, you could also feel like mentally overstimulated, overwhelmed. You can juggle with too many thoughts, too many messages, too many responsibilities, too many emails. And if you're involved in like public speaking or public teaching, or like writing is like a big part of your role, then there might be some very short heightened anxiety or some performance, some stress to perform. Just know that it's manageable with like grounding practices. You need movement, you need meditation, and Mars in the third house often boosts this mental energy, but the opposition to Pluto means you will need to release this pressure very consciously, or you're gonna risk communication breakdowns. So on the other side, Pluto in the ninth is also initiating a very deep transformation of your belief system. And Mars opposition could trigger a breakthrough moment in how you perceive the world. So you might feel very drawn to esoteric things, to philosophical things, with some occult studies, or you can also have some powerful encounters with like spiritual knowledge that really changes your perspective. So really, really powerful here. There can be sudden travel opportunities, but there can also be disruptions in travel right now. Especially like ones that push you out of your comfort zone or like broaden your world view. If you can travel towards a place that enhances this, that is very, very welcome right now. But be careful not injuring yourself while you're traveling as well. This period is really like encouraging you to shift how you interpret things. It's going to shift things, how you speak and what you speak about. And it's really going to like push you to engage with the world around you. And if you can move past the defensiveness, this transit can open like a profound new level of like intellectual and spiritual maturity. So yeah, it can be one of the most important moments for like self-reflection and growth in your current journey. So yeah, like this opposition is like asking, what's the deeper truth? How do you communicate? Be careful about mental burnout. And yeah, you're like burning these old narratives to the ground. Maybe even shedding a faith system or some philosophy you've been living by for a very long time. So yeah, really be mindful and let go the need to always be right. And notice where fear of being misunderstood is limiting your voice during this time. So yeah, you might feel a bit mentally overwhelmed. So really ground your thoughts before you start to speak. And if you speak, speak with grounded power and not with force. So let me know how you guys are dealing with this energy, and I wish you the best of luck. And oh, Laura, thank you so much. You give Turo succulent. I don't know what that word means actually, but thank you so much, Laura, for sending me this donation. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much, Laura. And Man Jack says, I'm gonna have to get with this game. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Maybe that's why I hurt myself, wasn't spending enough time connecting. Yeah, like this pent up hot burning energy is gonna come out in some way. So if you feel mad and you get in the car and you start driving, especially for Geminis with Mars in the third house rules the road. So be extra careful for road rage from yourself, from others. And if you're like gonna start driving when you feel mad, then the probability of getting into an accident is going to be higher than normal. So don't drive when mad as well. That's like something important to add. And thank you so much again, Laura. Thank you. Okay, then we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, my dear Cancers? How do you feel now that Mars has left the building? It's now in Leo, and the Mars-Pluto opposition is going to be in your 8th and your 2nd house. Whew, okay. The 2nd house is the house of personal finances. It's about self-worth. It's about material security. The 2nd house is how you feed yourself, how you clothe yourself, the money that you work for that can pay you for all the luxury in life, or like not especially luxury, but like the basic needs in life. That would be better put. And the opposition to Leo in your 8th house is like the house of shared resources, of intimacy, and also of psychological transformation. And this creates a high-stake moment around your money, around your power, around trust issues, and around control. And you might experience some conflicts over financial matters, especially related to like shared assets, to debts, taxes, alimonies, loans, inheritances, investments. They all fall under the 8th house. So there could be some financial tension in close relationships, be it romantic, within your family or in your business. And it could like now rise to the surface. And some power struggles over who owes what or who controls what are likely, because the 2nd and 8th house is the give and take axis in astrology. So on a more personal level, you may feel like a surge of motivation to reclaim your financial independence. It can be about asserting your value or the need to like protect what is yours. So you will need to do this with care, or it's going to blow up in your face. You're going to need to be strategic. You're going to need to be very, very discernment in regards to joint finances if a conflict comes up for you in that area. Because Pluto's influence really warns against impulsivity and also warns against financial risk during this time. So this transit can also unearth some deep psychological dynamics. It can be tied to your self-worth, to your trust, to your vulnerability. Can be issues around possessiveness, about intimacy, and also about emotional entanglements. All these things might intensify because the 8th house is the house of intensity. So yeah, all these things are going to come up, especially if some things have been lingering beneath the surface since January earlier this year. So the sun is forming a square to both Mars and Pluto during this time. So you won't be able to ignore the issues. They will like demand to be addressed. and you might like also revisit past depths or some emotional dynamics that can feel quite karmic in nature, and some patterns that are asking to be resolved very differently this time around. So in extreme cases, it can be very emotional, or it can be financial survival fears. These things could be triggered, and potentially it can, some cancers are going to panic in regards to their money situation right now. Just know that it's temporary, and if that happens, ground yourself in what you can control, and avoid dramatic decisions during this time, because the eighth house and Mars is very, very primal in nature, and your survival instincts will be heightened. But you're gonna realize later on that not every threat is as urgent as it feels right now. So, yeah, on a transformative level, this is a powerful time to redefine your relationship to power, to money, and to intimacy. You may be drawn towards taboo subjects, can be about psychological breakthroughs, it can be about occult studies, and you're really gonna like seek this deeper truth about what drives you, and like how to empower yourself emotionally and also materially. So a very, very potent opportunity to rebuild your sense of security, financially as spiritually. And if you stay mindful of the push and pull between independence and entanglement, and you're able to avoid the hasty decisions around money, you could also come out of this period way stronger, more self-possessed, and more in command of your financial and emotional boundaries. Just remember that like this lasting power comes not from control, but from clarity and trust within yourself. So yeah, intense for the cancers. It's about dependency, about vulnerability, and it's about, yeah, power without controlling others. So are your money patterns based on fear or on trust? So really face that. Also face your shadow around intimacy and survival, and maybe start a financial plan that is going to build towards long-term empowerment. And also a good time to do energy work around self-worth and trauma release. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Cancer. I'm very, very curious to hear from you guys. And Stain just checked in, and he's a Cancer rising. Well, that's very divinely timed. Welcome, Stain. I'm happy to see you. And Animar says, hit that like button. It helps the channel. Thank you so much, Animar. Yes, that really helps. And put a comment. Let me know where you are watching this from. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, Animar. And Lakeside Laura says, room for growth for all of us. Yes, that's true. That is so beautifully put, because this is a time to like really put the ego aside, and go through our own journey and growth process, and really be compassionate for others who are having yeah, bad time. We're gonna need to give them like a big hug and just tell them that everything is gonna be all right. Okay, we're now gonna look at the stars of today's show, and that is Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How are you doing, my dear Leos, with Mars in your sign? Have you felt the shift? Like I certainly have been feeling it. It's like, yeah, way more dynamic, way more active. So yeah, the Pluto-Mars opposition will activate your first house of sense of self, of identity. It's also your physical vitality. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Leos, be careful about cuts, bruises, burns. When you handle machinery, when you are like cutting your fish, your meat, be extra careful. The energy is very, very present for injuries for you guys. So, then we also have Pluto in your seventh house of committed partnerships. Can also be contracts, business dealings, or business partnerships, and very, very close one-on-one dynamics. So yes, for you guys, my dear Leos, it's very, very deeply personal transit. It is where like the core tension revolves around your need for personal autonomy and self-expression versus the expectation, control, or resistance from others. So you might feel a surge in confidence for sure. Now that Mars is in your sign, you can have way more drive. Mars is finally out of your 12th house. So yeah, very, very good for extra magnetism as well. So yeah, it's a very, very strong time for self-assertion, but that energy can also provoke some very strong responses in your close relationships. So some of you Leos, your partners may push you back, might challenge your new authority, or maybe can resist some of the change. And any existing tension in relationship, whether romantic, professional, are likely to reach some sort of boiling point. You might also be initiating like new dynamics that bring power struggles to the forefront. But I'm not gonna lie, this opposition, it can also come forward in the life of your partner. So some of you Leos are not going to fight with their partner, but are going to be very worried for their partner, because some Leos, their partner, are going to go through a very, very big rebirth moment, or maybe some of the Leo's partner is going to get attacked in some way, and you're going to need to feel the need to fight for them. So yeah, it can depend, because it's happening in the 7th house as well, and sometimes that means that all the things I'm mentioning are like getting channeled through in the realm of your partner. So just know that this energy can be especially volatile if there's a long-standing imbalance of power or some unspoken tension. Then it will definitely come up in your relationship. Pluto in the 7th house can also reveal some hidden motives. It can also be about trust issues, maybe some patterns of control, and Mars in your first might like unintentionally escalate all these things through some impulsiveness or some over assertion. So it's very important to be mindful of how you're showing up in relationship dynamics. And there's a big risk of being perceived as domineering, even if your intentions are simply to express yourself. This can also be applied to business partnerships or to negotiations as well, where like both sides may be very strong-willed and be very, very unwilling to compromise. So be extra careful with legal bad matters, with contracts or some disputes. If that happens, it can be particularly intense during this time. And while you may feel like justified in asserting your position, careful communication and emotional intelligence will be very, very essential to avoid any unnecessary backlash. So yeah, at its best, this transit can really act as a catalyst for deep personal growth, but the pressure between Mars and Pluto can like really refine how you express your strength and also your charisma. So shifting from overcompensation or defensiveness towards a more authentic and grounded confidence. So yeah, my dear Leos, if you've been holding back like your true self in relationships, or if you've been too forceful without realizing it, now is the time to recalibrate. The desire for independence might clash with commitments you've made. It may also force you to really clarify what kind of relationships you truly want. It can also be a very, very incredible opportunity to work through some shadow dynamics, such as control, jealousy. There can be a fear of vulnerability as well. But if you navigate this very consciously, this transit is going to help you step into a way more empowered version of yourself. One that leads not by dominance, but by presence, truth, and also self-respect. So Mars in your sign is fired up. You're ready to lead, to act, but Pluto on the 7th is really reflecting back the very, very power you seek to claim in relationships. So yeah, mirroring, projection is gonna be coming up. So you're being asked how to be strong while not bulldozing others. So yeah, stand up for yourself, but don't dominate, and really focus on co-empowered relationships, and then it will all be all right for you, my dear Leos. So let me know how you're doing with Mars in your sign, and if you're like enjoying or handling the intensity. I hope you're not gonna encounter too many conflicts, and I also wish you the best of luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How's it going, Virgos? You are gonna have this Mars-Pluto opposition activating your 12th house of the unconscious realms. It's the house of isolation and also the house of hidden enemies. And Mars in Leo is in your 6th house of health, health and well-being, also work routines, and your service towards others. So it's also about your job. So this can create this intense inner conflict between like your spiritual and emotional life and like your daily obligations. And like me as a Virgo rising, I have definitely been feeling that. It can like really manifest as too much stress because it's getting too loud. It can also manifest as feeling a little bit burnout. And by saying it, I'm already like tripping over my own words because I know I need to be careful for this right now. You can also feel like energetically drained. So yeah, unseen power struggles, covert dynamics in your workplace, which I like talked about in the beginning of this video, what happened at my job yesterday. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a theme for the Virgo risings. So yeah, it's going to surface. It's going to possibly reveal colleagues that are working against you. It can be about gossiping, can create division behind the scenes. And the involvement of the sun in this configuration, the sun is in your ninth, it can be like, yeah, hidden tensions are going to be exposed. So if you felt on edge or a bit suspicious of some people, this period may really confirm your intuition, but be mindful not to fall into this pattern of paranoia, and also take steps to protect your energy, especially in environments that feel draining or unsupportive. So yeah, this transit may also bring health concerns towards your attention, especially if it's gonna be tied to like unacknowledged stress. It can also be about anxiety. It can be about overworking. So yeah, if your nervous system has been under pressure, your body may start to signal it right now. So Mars in the 12th often operates in the background. So yeah, pent-up frustration, pent-up resentment, some inner turmoil could really lead to burnout, or also some psychosomatic symptoms if it's not addressed on time. So yeah, take it slow, Virgo risings. I know you like to pay a lot of attention to details, but that can be very draining. I know you want to clean up after others. Well, you get this cosmic free card to, yeah, just stop cleaning up after others' mess. It is like not your job at all. Just focus on your own things. Don't overdo it. Yeah, it's like you will probably notice that the tone of your work environment is gonna shift. Your coworkers may become more agitated, or they're gonna complain more openly. And also changes in the workplace could lead to dissatisfaction or control issues among the staff. So yeah, if possible, carve out some intentional time for rest, engage in solitude, so you can replenish on a spiritual level, because you'll likely benefit from stepping away to reflect and to reset, rather than pushing through all the noise. With Mars in the 12th, it's not going to be able to push through the noise right now. You need silence, you need retreat, you need sleep, and that is all going to offer you more clarity than if you go on the attack or if you confront things during this time. So on a deeper level, it's a very profoundly psychological healing transit, but Pluto in your sixth is very slow, like a slow transformation, how you relate to work, health, discipline, service towards others, while Mars in the 12th house really pushes you to confront these unconscious behaviors. Patterns of self-sabotage are going to come up, and also some very deeply buried emotional wounds. So if your daily routine or job feels out of sync with your values or with your emotional truth, then this opposition may bring an urge to restructure your life to better support your inner peace and also your spiritual well-being. It's a big call to align your practical commitments with your deeper emotional and spiritual needs. So if you're going to approach this with honesty and care, then this transit can really lead to a powerful release of old habits and also beliefs, because the sun is in the ninth, and a new beginning that can be rooted in more self-compassion, that can give you more internal strength, and also soulful authenticity. So yeah, you're being pushed to transform your daily habits and your spiritual hygiene. Let go of perfectionism, because if you're going to focus on perfectionism right now, that can become quite toxic. So yeah, and Mars in the 12th is going to activate this buried rage. And all these symptoms that are going to emerge, they really stem from spiritual disconnection. So yeah, really ask yourself, are your routines rooted in love or in fear? And are you serving others to avoid yourself? And where are you like repressing too much anger that could become an illness? So yeah, rest, sleep, meditate, and release the need to fix everything. You need to put the focus on your own during this time. So let me know how things are going, and I'm wishing you the best of luck. And Lakeside Laura says, learning a lot. Thank you, Laura. Yes, I know it's like a lot for all the signs right now. And Ayami says, intense but doing okay. Leo Sun here. Well, okay. I'm very happy to hear you're doing okay. I hope it stays this way in the next 2 weeks. And if you don't encounter any particular problem, then you're off the hook and then you can start enjoying the summer. So I hope that manifests for you. And yes, Lakeside Laura, sounds good if Virgos can let go. Laura, this is so hard for a Virgo rising to let go. Oh my God, that is like insane. But all right, then we have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have this Mars-Pluto opposition that is going to activate your 11th house of friendship, social networks, long-term goals, and your 5th house of creativity, romance, and children. So this creates pressure between your desire to shine in your community, and or in your social circle, and but also like a deeper personal need that is tied to self-expression, passion, or your role as a parent. So some power struggles or some friendships that are going to act jealously are going to come to the surface. And you're gonna know it if someone has been undermining your confidence. It's gonna show you. So if you've sensed some strange dynamics in a group or some hidden competition since January, you're gonna see clarity in that right now, especially with the sun forming a square to both planets. Really try to avoid reacting and just like see it for what it is. This is like an opportunity to lead through with balance and grace. And I know you can do this, my dear Libras. and it can like elevate your role within a group or team setting if you can like just surrender to the dynamic. The opposition also touches on the creative and emotional heart because it's also happening in the fifth house. So yeah, you can experience these intense romantic feelings. Um, if it gets too intense, it can also, and especially if it makes like bad aspects to your own natal chart, there can be real jealousy, real obsession, or real power games in romance. It can either end a relationship or it can ignite a relationship with very powerful chemistry. At the same time, yeah, parenting dynamics can heat up, especially if children are asserting their independence or like really pushing your boundaries. You might really feel the urge to defend your children as well, and that can be in situations that involve teachers or authority figures or at school or somewhere else. Especially if some problematic dynamic began in January, now it might need a resolution. So yeah, this can reveal how much of your energy goes into performing for others instead of authentically expressing yourself. Mars in Leo can supercharge your creative drive, but it needs direction and purpose. So yeah, you're being asked to reclaim your joy and your passion, even if it means pulling back from like group obligations that don't align with your heart. So yeah, profound shifting goals and aspirations. It's about what you create and how you share it with the world. So yeah, if you've been pursuing goals that feel disconnected from your true self, Pluto is gonna trigger a very deep reassessment. So can be a breakthrough moment to really realign your ambitions with what feels truly fulfilling. So yeah, you need to be fully yourself, not just what others expect you to be. So it can be about launching a passion project, can be about changing a creative direction, and often, yeah, this is going to be like a very, very big catalyst for authentic self-expression. So really use this for personal empowerment, and also it's gonna really help you with your long-term transformation of your goals and dreams into the 11th house. So really, if you embrace this emotional intensity and if you can lean into your own truth, you can come out of this transit with a way stronger sense of purpose and like a deeper connection to your joy. So this opposition asks you, like, are your social circles suppressing your joy or your creativity? And are you chasing approval from groups while neglecting your personal spark? And have some friendships become a little bit too competitive or controlling? It's really important that you align with collaborators who really honor your individuality. So yeah, watch out for jealousy or projection within your group of friends. So yeah, let me know how things are going. And Stain says Libra moon. Yeah, that was like a very, very heavy full moon in Libra, right? Like, oh my God, like that was an intense yacht for sure. So good luck, Libra, and let me know how you're doing. I wish you the best of luck. And yes, Steen says no issues yet. Well, I'm glad. Like you've been through this full moon just 1 week ago. Of those zeggen in het Vlaams, het is welletjes geweest. Eh? He's a friend from Belgium as well. So then we have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have this Mars-Pluto opposition activating your 10th house of career, status, public recognition. Your reputation is at the top of the chart. So very, very visible, Scorpios. Be very careful what you're saying, especially in public, because yeah, that could create a bit of strife. Then we have Pluto in the fourth, which is about our home, our family, and our emotional foundations. And it's going to create this intense pressure between your professional ambitions and your private life. And it may become increasingly difficult to keep the two in harmony during this time. So yeah, conflicts between work and home are gonna demand your attention, and they're gonna arise very suddenly, or they come to a head, especially if you've been like overextending yourself in one area at the cost of the other. So you might feel powerful urge to like assert yourself in a public way, or you want to like really rise into a more prominent role, but it could be met with resistance from superiors, institutions, or the demands of your personal life. So if authority figures really challenge you during this time, know that this is like an opportunity to really evaluate what you're doing or what you don't doing, or like if you have control and whether like your current position truly aligns with your long-term goals. It's all gonna come up for introspection. And at the same time, Pluto in the fourth really suggests that family dynamics, emotional roots, and your living situation may be undergoing a very deep transformation. It can also include like surfacing some long buried family issues. Um, and yeah, it's going to be a very, very pivotal time to reclaim your space. It can be literally or energetically. Some power dynamics at home can feel like you're suffocating. So yeah, it's about what matters most, and that is that like you're being called to build this new foundation, one that can support both your emotional needs and your ambitions. So you might feel a bit pulled in two directions, but the tension is here to show you where something must change. So this opposition marks a turning point in how you manage your role in the public sphere versus your private sanctuary. So if you felt like under-recognized in your career, or maybe you feel trapped in a work environment where you can't fully shine, then this is your wake-up call. Mars in your 10th is pushing you to step into leadership and assert your goals, but Pluto reminds you that this lasting success must be rooted in emotional integrity and also self-awareness. So, yeah, your reputation is going to shift during this period, and if it's handled with wisdom and not out of control, that this can lead to a breakthrough or some leap forward. And at the same time, if you reclaim your power at home, if you heal your ancestral patterns and strengthen your inner world, then this can also be like very, very vital. So yeah, this transit is asking you, what are you building, and what is the foundation? The clearer and more honest you are gonna get, the more empowered your next chapter is gonna be. So for Scorpios, very intense this. It's in angular houses, the big grand cross. So yeah, your inner emotional wounding might be projected into your personal ambition and vice versa. So a good thing to ask yourself is, are you trying to prove your worth through success? Do you feel like your family or your upbringing holds you back from your public achievement? And is your drive for visibility masking deeper emotional needs? Consciously balance work and home, and really set boundaries with family so you're like able to grow professionally. And that is like the best advice I can give you, Scorpios. Surrender, let go of the need of control. Don't create some conflict that can mess with your reputation. You're just gonna have to sweat it out. And if you succeed in that, and if you keep your angle like the sting in control, then you'll be fine. But really, don't go on the sting attack right now. It's gonna backlash for sure. So good luck, my dear Scorpios. And Stefan says, this is right. This is what is happening right now. And Stefan says, I am Scorpio. Yeah, and I know Stefan, and he is so intuitive. He's also a healer. So I know Stefan, for Scorpios right now, it is not an easy time. Lilith just crossed into your sign. It is actually the troublemaker. It is about not wanting to be suppressed and not wanting to be dominated. So yeah, there's like a lot of tension for the Scorpios right now, because if you look at the 3 planets, they're all pointing towards the sign of Scorpio, and Lilith, the troublemaker, just entered your sign. So yeah, I know it's not easy, and I wish you the best of luck, my dear Scorpios. And Laura says, Scorpios have strength. Absolutely. They have the uttermost resilience, Scorpios. It is like incredible. They have this immense willpower, and like Scorpios, I forgot to mention, but like these are like both of your rulers opposite each other. It's like, why didn't I mention this in the beginning? It's because I'm a little bit tired, I guess. But Mars is your traditional ruler, and Pluto is your modern ruler, and they are creating an opposition in angular houses. So yeah, it's like for Scorpios right now, it's full on. So yeah, you're very welcome, Stefan. So then we have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have this Mars-Pluto opposition activating your 9th house of philosophy, higher education, and also long-distance travel. And Mars is in your 3rd house of communication, learning, and also your local environment or your local connections. So this is really creating a very powerful clash between your desire to express your personal truth or pursue like a broader vision. And like it's about mental habits, it's about narratives, it's about local voices that are getting really loud up into your ear, and you might feel like they push you back. So it's about ideological, it's about philosophical conflicts. Yeah, they're like especially likely right now. So yeah, it can be conversations about politics, it can be about religion, ethics, education. All these things could become quite heated during this time, particularly if you work in this academic or like a media setting, if you're involved in publishing and teaching, legal matters. Expect some disruption, but if you draw upon the immense willpower, you can also have a very big breakthrough in all these things, depending on what aspect it makes to your personal planets in your natal chart. So because it's in the 9th and the 3rd house, it could also manifest through travel difficulties. It could also present sudden opportunities, or maybe some unexpected international connection that ends up shifting your whole worldview. Or maybe you go on a travel and your philosophy changes. So at a deeper level, it's like transforming how you process information, how you communicate your ideas, also how you interact with your immediate environment. And you might encounter some power dynamics with siblings, with neighbors. You might uncover some manipulation or some control tactics with your close environment or your close circles. For example, when you go to the store, going to the store is like a 3rd house thing. You end up, it's a 3rd and a 6th house thing, but like it's in your immediate environment. The sun is in your 6th house of day-to-day activities, and you're gonna get challenged like by your very normal routine. So it's also on the road. Be careful for accidents. Sagittarius is one of the signs that is gonna be more emphasized by road rage, by accidents on the road, because Pluto's in your 3rd house, creating this big fixed grand cross. So maybe you're gonna need to go to the garage for your car. Maybe it's in need of service in the next month. That's also a possibility. Or maybe your car breaks down, depending on what it is in your natal chart. But so Mars in the 9th is really pushing you towards this bold intellectual risk-taking, and you might feel this strong urge to change maybe an academic path. Maybe if you're still in high school, you might change studies. If you're not, you can enroll in a new course, and you can also like abandon these long-held beliefs in favor of something that is more aligned with your current truth. The 9th house is the house of truth. It is a traditional Sagittarius house. You are a Sag, so yeah, a lot of fire in your home domain of the 9th. So it's also a period of profound mental expansion, especially if you're like open to, yeah, or if you read a lot of books, or if you're like engaging with ideas that are like outside of your normal comfort zone, then you can like have a growth spurt here, not normal. So learning from perspectives you usually avoid could turn out to be very transformative, even if they're a bit uncomfortable with Pluto. But this newfound curiosity becomes a catalyst for growth, as long as you're like willing to sit with the discomfort. So in the end, this transit serves as like a passage into like a deeper and more empowered understanding of your place in the world and in your local environment. So that's the third ninth house axis. You might also have to defend your ideas. Maybe you need to clarify your message, or maybe you're going to need to break ties with people who can't respect your intellectual autonomy. So for example, if you work in journalism, if you work in communications and media and education, if you work in the travel industry, you can expect dramatic shifts or power plays. On a personal level, it's gonna really be about the truth and being in alignment with the truth. You're gonna shed these outdated mental scripts, and you're gonna really reflect upon the personal philosophy and about like the person that you're becoming. So really use this time to redefine your truth and also speak it with integrity, not to win an argument, but rather use your voice to gain clarity and have a meaningful conversation. And if you lean into this process, you can emerge from it with a sharpened intellect. You can have a deeper worldview and also a stronger sense of direction. So, yeah, Pluto is asking you to transform your thought patterns and also your communication style. So, do your thoughts match your truth? Do your words match your truth? Are you using your knowledge or your education to dominate others, or are you using it to open their minds? Maybe you can study something that challenges your worldview. That would be very beneficial for you, my dear Sages. And speak about what is real, maybe not what is easy. That can be helpful as well for you guys. So let me know how you're doing. And Lakeside Laura says, my husband is Sag, spot on again. And she says, boom. My husband is Sag, Sun, Libra, Moon, Virgo, rising, and an attorney. Lol. Oh my God, an attorney. That is like that is amazing, because Sag is like being able to keep track of the bigger picture, expanding view. It also has to do with like legal matters. Then we have Libra Moon. Libra is like the scales of justice. It's about the judicial system. And then the Virgo rising is like very attuned to details and keeping structure and like really making sure you have everything like set and like, yeah, it's like a very, very good combination. That is so interesting, Laura. Thank you for sharing that. I bet he's a good attorney with that combination. So good luck, my dear Sages. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have this Mars-Pluto opposition that is going to activate your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, and deep psychological transformation. The 8th house is rather intense. Then we see Mars is in your 8th house of intensity, and then we see Pluto in your 2nd house of personal finances, values, but also your self-worth. So this axis, it is the give and take axis. It is a quite intense axis, and it deals with power, with trust, with security, and with survival. And with these intense planets involved, You might find yourself navigating financial power struggles. It can be about emotional vulnerability. It can also be about crises that are about control. So yeah, there might be issues around like loans, debts, inheritances, joint finances, alimonies, taxes, or like who owns what in like a shared living situation or a shared business situation. You might feel the strong urge to assert your independence, but you can be met with resistance from others, other people's money, but also other people's emotions can like create a lot of resistance for you right now. So it's also possible that these old fears related to dependence, to scarcity, to self-worth are gonna rise to the surface right now. Like you are gonna get massively triggered. I'm just gonna put it out there. Um, it's gonna be very, very urgent, and it's gonna demand your attention and healing. The eighth house is transformative. It is tremendous healing. So make good use of this, of the triggers that you're gonna get. This transit also has like the potential to lead to emotional, psychological breakthroughs, especially in how you handle trust, intimacy, and it's about your personal boundaries. So yeah, shadow work, deep inner work, it's all gonna get triggered. It's gonna be by relationships, and it's gonna cause you to examine how you give and receive support, how open you are to vulnerability, and whether you truly feel safe expressing your needs. So yeah, it's about sexual and emotional intimacy, and these are gonna undergo a profound shift, and it's gonna help you to become more honest about what you want and need. So if you like struggled with expressing your boundaries, with expressing your desires or your fears, then this period can really like empower you to reclaim your voice and your right to feeling safe in intimate places. If you've been holding on too tightly, it can be financially or emotionally, then this might be the time to release some of that control in order to move more into a more balanced, a more trusting dynamic. So yeah, this is like a chance to rebuild your relationship with your personal power and abundance. The second house is working to like reshape your value system, and it's urging you to let go of outdated attachments to these material definitions of worth and really to embrace this inner security and also resourcefulness. While Mars in the 8th ignites like this powerful drive to reclaim control over your shared and unseen resources, or like your shared finances, but it's also about like these unseen forces in the 8th house. It can be about money, it can be about emotional energy, or also about psychological resilience. So if you channel this intensity into maybe a new financial plan, you can invest it in therapy and a new occult study that is gonna give a profound transformation. So yeah, the outcome of all these things can indicate a deep healing and a lot of empowerment. So yeah, it would be wise to look into manifestation, into like alchemy, energetic alchemy, or also deeper spiritual work that really enhances your sense of security from the inside out. So the key here is to face what's been buried and also to trust that you can come out stronger, freer, and more self-possessed than ever before. The eighth house, it is going to give some kind of crisis, but you have this enormous willpower to overcome any hurdle right now. So, yeah, it is like, does your control of money, of like, I'm going to put it another way. Do you control money, or does money control you? And are your relationships like equal, or are they like power imbalanced? And do you fear being truly vulnerable with others? It's a very good time to heal sexual shame, to intimacy wounds, and really let go of what you possess. and really trust and a shared transformation in your relationship. So yeah, it's a bit of an intense configuration for you guys, especially with your chart ruler being on top of Venus. So yeah, it's like really reframing Venus. Venus is about to enter your fourth house, which will, it can indicate some fights at home about love or the people that you live with together with. But yeah, that's for a whole other video, which I will explain later on. So I wish you the best of luck, my dear Capricorn, and let me know how you're dealing with this energy. Lakeside Laura says, look out for the goat. Yeah, they are like, whew, they can be a lot. So the next one is Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have this powerful Mars-Pluto opposition lighting up your sign and your seventh house of partnership and committed relationships. So yeah, Pluto in your first house or in your sign, it's about sense of self, identity, your personal will. It's going to bring this intense relational tension, especially in your current connections, whether romantic, professional, business, otherwise. Reflect about the person you are becoming with Pluto in your sign. And Pluto is slow-moving transit. It is initiating this long-term transformation of your self-image, of your identity. And during this temporary window, that process is likely going to be triggered by challenges coming from others, the seventh house. You might feel a growing urge for this personal freedom and also for authenticity, but some partners or close allies may really try to hold you to like this outdated version of yourself. They're not going to be happy with like this new person you're trying to become. They can feel threatened by it with Pluto in your sign, so be mindful of that. This dynamic can stir some power struggles, some control issues, and even some confrontations with Mars in your seventh. But it's also like this big invitation to really reclaim your independence and really reassert like your evolving self and like the truth of who you're becoming. And Mars in the seventh really like ramps up this energy and this one-on-one relationships kind of house. But the seventh house is also open enemies, so can be full on. Not gonna lie, it's gonna bring a lot of passion, chemistry, action, but also some conflict and some volatile energy. So two possible meanings. One, it's gonna create this deep new bond with someone, or if you already have a bond, it's gonna create a very dramatic clash within that bond. So that's gonna depend on the health of the connection. And new people that are gonna enter your life right now, they're gonna do that with this intense magnetism, but be mindful of red flags around control, possessiveness, aggression as well. Even if it's like not fully directed at you, if someone new if someone new comes in and they're like being aggressive towards other people, not to you, then that is a massive red flag. They're gonna at one point direct it towards you as well. So be mindful of that. If you've been like involved in this unhealthy dynamic, then it's going to provide you the final push to release toxic bonds. It's time to reclaim your energy, and Pluto is going to force you to do it. You have no choice. The Sun squaring both Mars and Pluto are going to shine a spotlight on manipulation and on imbalances. And the people you live with together, and they're going to helping you see clearly what's like no longer sustainable. And in some cases, yeah, some legal disputes or some contractual conflicts might also surface. So yeah, if you have the chance, delay important agreements, signing things. If you're gonna do it during this energy, it's gonna create a bit of strife. If you're gonna jump into a new relationship in the next 2 weeks, not very well. Wait after the first week of May. Then the energy becomes more stable, then it will be fine to sign something new, to jump into a new relationship, but wait a little bit. So yeah, for Aquarius, major empowerment portal is opening for you, a big chance to reclaim your voice, your image, set boundaries. It's also about your body. You might feel drawn to change your appearance. It's also about the way you show up in the world. Just ensure that these changes come from a place of inner truth and not from pressures from others. So yeah, Pluto in the first doesn't tolerate like these surface level personas that are wanting to enter and like dominate you. It is calling forth you to like embody your most authentic self. So be your most authentic self, even if it ruffles some feathers. It's gonna happen anyway. So it's really like calling you to embody yeah, the person you already want to becoming. You can already show that now, but it's gonna create a bit of strife. So yeah, try to see it as like this big catalyst for transformation, and challenges from others might help you to like rediscover parts of yourself that you gave away or maybe never claimed in the first place. So yeah, a time of cutting cords, facing your shadow, and also stepping into your personal power. So when you do come out on the other side, you might not just feel more like yourself, you might be someone entirely new. So really make good use of this energy. And yeah, balance between your emerging identity and how others perceive or treat you. Some recalibration needs to be made in that area. So a good question that you can ask yourself is, do you give away your power in relationships? Do you need constant conflict to feel alive or in love? Can you stand tall in your truth even when others are challenging you? And really set clear boundaries. Don't shrink to keep the peace. It's not going to work. And relationships are going to be massive mirrors for you right now. So claim this new version of yourself, and you're gonna watch the shift happening in your relationships according to that. So Aquarius, let me know how you're dealing with this energy. It's quite intense for you guys. And Stain says, I can't be any way different, Astrid. Yeah, well, Aquarius is very, very different. They're like, they're not the normies, Aquarius. They are like the ones who think outside of the box. They're these freedom lovers, these rebels. Yeah, I actually love Aquarius. They are very, very cool and very, very different, which we actually really need in this world. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. So then we have Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have this Mars-Pluto opposition activating your 6th house of work, daily routines, so your day-to-day life, your schedule, your health as well, also your job. And then it's going to make an opposition to Pluto in your 12th house of the subconscious, of like the hidden matters, a very, very private house. It's the unseen realms. It is the spiritual restoration. It's like meditation, retreatment, isolation. So yeah, very interesting house, the 12th house. This is about balancing your your spirituality with the practicality. That is like the 12th and the 6th house. So yeah, it is like creating a very potent pressure between external responsibilities and your internal well-being. And you need to take a serious look at your how you expend your energy, or how you like give away your energy, or like with Mars in the 6th house, burnout is going to be a key theme for you guys. So you're likely to be more sensitive to overwhelm, and you might also feel like you're carrying both your own responsibilities and like the emotions of the people close around you. Like I know my Pisces, sun, moon, or risings, you are extremely sensitive. You have these antennas that really like pick up everything. You are this sponge. Whether you love or hate it, this time it's gonna be like a very big love-hate relationship with being a sponge. And I like know all about it with the Pisces moon. It is not easy. So if you've been like sensing hidden tensions or like power dynamics in the workplace, expect those to like really come to a head now, especially with the sun both illuminating Mars and Pluto. You might encounter arguments. There can be a sudden departure at your work. There can be some restructuring going on, and they could all stir a bit stress, and they're gonna like destabilize your routine. So very essential to set firm boundaries, especially at your work right now, or it's gonna have like implications on your health. So slow down and create space to care for yourself before you're like forced to do so in a reactive mode. And the emotional undercurrents of these transits go even way deeper. Pluto is in your 12th house, and it's like very slowly, step by step, reshaping your relationship with your subconscious mind. It can be about buried fears, old wounds, and hidden habits that come into the light now because Pluto like gets them from the underworld up into the conscience. So it's like it can be a lot. Mars in your sixth can like really provoke a desire to make change in your health habits and also in your daily routine or like your daily schedule. But if you're gonna make these extreme changes right now, then that can backfire. So be cautious of going like all in on these very strict diets, a strict wellness routine, or like dramatic changes without like considering if they're like actually gonna be sustainable. Some are going to do such a big overhaul that it's going to create even more stress. So be sure if you implement new habits that they're contributing towards like stress release and that they're not like creating extra stress for you right now, because the 12th house is the house of self-sabotaging behaviors. So acts of self-sabotage likely are going to emerge, and it can be like abruptly quitting a job or pushing yourself to exhaustion, and that might arise from like this unacknowledged fears or some deep discomfort and like your subconscious that is like screaming for a change right now. So very powerful opportunity to understand like the roots of your own behavior and how that contributes to your well-being, especially if you feel a bit more compulsive, if you feel a lot more reactive, or if you feel misaligned. You're gonna feel it immensely. So yeah, if you need help, consider like therapy, journaling, energy work. It's also important to look at like the dream exploration that can like give you access and transform these deeper patterns in your subconscious. So yeah, this is a transit. It is like a call to a spiritual integration, especially with all the retrogrades that happened in Pisces over the last few weeks. So it really asks you to like balance Mars' fiery urgency in your daily life with like Pluto's slow and subtle transformation in your inner power in the 12th house. So if you really lean into mindfulness rather than create this huge resistance, then it can be a moment of profound healing, self-mastery. Yeah, it can be very empowering. It can be about your work habits that undergo a massive change. It can be about healing your stress response to the outside world. And it can also be about your approach to your body. And all of these things might change in a very drastic way. But make sure you change it for you in the best way possible. The key here is to surrender control without collapsing into fear and to really allow the unknown to guide you inwards rather than to provoke panic and more stress in your daily life with Mars there in the 6th. So if you can really honor your limits while steadily improving your foundations, then this opposition might open like a gateway to long-term wellness, deeper spiritual insight that will have a lasting impact in the subconscious, and also a stronger, maybe bigger confidence that comes from like having faced your shadow and standing your ground right now. So yeah, Pluto in the 12th, yeah, it's a bad boy. Hidden fears, karmic wounds, and subconscious programming gets a little bit triggered here by Mars. So yeah, Mars is gonna push you to act, to fix, to improve, to serve others. But if you're gonna overwork right now, then your system will crash. So yeah, you're like dancing between the mystical and the practical, but you have to know that both must be honored. So a good question you can ask yourself is, are you escaping through busyness? Are you avoiding your emotions with workaholism? Do your habits support your soul? And what needs to be healed in solitude, 12th house, before it can be offered in service towards others, the 6th house? So don't go sacrifice yourself for others right now. Really build routines that are sacred and also sustainable, and something that is not exhausting you, because that will be of uttermost importance for you, my dear Pisces. So yeah, I think that was it. And Stain says, I'm gonna steal a bit of this Pisces spiritual stuff. Yeah, well, Pisces is about the collective. It's very, very sensitive. So yeah, everyone can benefit from listening to the Pisces stuff for sure. And I also read Aries and patience in one sentence. Well, good luck. Yeah, well, I always say like that they forgot to install that when my mother gave birth. Like patience, that is like not in my books. And the Lakeside Laura is also an Aries, and yeah, needing to be more patient. I know all about that. And yes, we can all do this. Thank you so much for contributing to this reading or video. And thank you all for joining me on this intense adventure of Pluto and Mars. If these insights resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And your engagement helps us to reach more souls seeking this cosmic guidance. So I wish you all good luck, and I will see you next time for my new moon and Taurus video. And Lakeside Laura says, this is on fire, pun intended. Thank you so much, Stain, for joining, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.